I plunged the syringe into my sister Emily's neck before she could scream. Watching her eyes bulge in that split-second betrayal we'd all pretended didn't exist for years. Her body slumped like a discarded puppet, and as the experimental serum coursed through her veins, the one I'd stolen from the black market clinic in the Loop, I felt the world tilt, my skin crawling as if ants were rewriting my bones. By morning, I'd wake up in her penthouse, wearing her perfect life like an ill-fitting suit, ready to unravel the empire my siblings had built on our parents' graves. But first, I'd make them sell the house that was never theirs to touch. The rain hammered the roof of the old Victorian in Oak Park like it was trying to wash away the sins soaked into the floorboards, but nothing could erase what my brother Jack and sister Emily had done. It was 2023, and Chicago's suburbs still clung to that post-pandemic haze of denial, everyone pretending the world hadn't cracked open, exposing the rot underneath. Our parents had died in a car wreck 2 years prior, a slick stretch of I-90 turning into their tomb when Jack, half-drunk on bourbon, had borrowed Dad's keys for a joyride that ended in flames. But that was the lie they sold me, Jack's fault, pinned on me because I was the quiet one, the troubled middle child with a psych degree and the habit of questioning everything. I was Lily Harper, 32. The one who'd nursed Mom through her chemo in that very house, holding her hand while Emily jetted off to board meetings in Manhattan and Jack chased venture capital in Silicon Valley knockoffs. Legally, every square inch of that creaky old place, its warped oak floors, the attic stuffed with Dad's jazz records, the backyard where we'd buried the family dog under a crooked maple, was mine. Dad's will, scribbled in his shaky hand after the diagnosis, left it to me outright. To Lily, who knows the value of roots. But roots don't pay for private jets or trust funds. And my siblings? They saw dollar signs in the foundation cracks. It started with the funeral. Black suits and crocodile tears at Queen of Heaven Cemetery, the priest droning about eternal rest while Emily whispered to her lawyer about probate timelines. I was too grief-stricken to notice the notary slipping into the crowd, or the way Jack's hand lingered on my shoulder like he was measuring a noose. By the time I got the call from the estate attorney, some slick guy named Harlan with a Bears mug and a comb-over, he was stammering apologies. Miss Harper, there's been irregularities. The deed's been transferred. Your brother and sister, they filed an emergency petition claiming undue influence. Said you coerced your father. Coerced? The one who'd changed bedsheets at 3 a.m., who'd pawned my own car to cover the hospice bills. The court date was a farce. Zoom hearing from my shitty Wicker Park studio. Jack testifying in a crisp button-down about my mental instability, Emily producing forged emails where I'd supposedly ranted about inheriting the devil's lair. They painted me as the villain, the gold-digging black sheep who'd driven Dad to his grave with emotional terrorism. The judge, a harried woman with a stack of eviction notices, sided with them in 10 minutes flat. Family reconciliation encouraged, she said, banging her gavel like it sealed my exile. That's when the real betrayal hit, not just the house, but the secret they'd buried deeper than Mom's ashes. Dad hadn't just left me the property, he'd confessed in that will, tucked in an addendum only I knew about, that Jack was the one behind the wheel that night. Jack, the golden boy, the startup whiz kid who'd crashed Dad's Cadillac into a guardrail at 80, high on coke from a VC's afterparty. Dad covered it up to protect the family name, the Harper legacy of quiet Midwestern respectability. Jack's future is brighter than his mistakes, he'd written. Lily will understand. But understanding didn't stop the cops from hauling me in 6 months later. When an anonymous tip, Emily's, I later learned, linked me to the accident via a planted dashcam footage doctored in some basement server farm. Prison was hell's waiting room. Cook County Jail. Then a transfer to Logan for the manslaughter rap they pinned on me. 2 years inside. Folding inmate laundry and dodging shivs. While outside, Emily flipped the house into a flipper's wet dream, gutted the kitchen for quartz counters, turned the basement into an Airbnb speakeasy, sold it for $1.2 million to a tech bro from Naperville. Proceeds split 3 ways. My share donated to a charity in Mom's name. Ironic, since the only charity was the one they'd show me. None. But fate, or whatever dark god watches over the Forsaken, handed me the weapon. In Logan's med wing, during a rehab trial for low-security inmates, some bleeding-edge neurotech bullshit funded by Big Pharma and the state to reintegrate us psychos, I met Dr. Elias Crow.
Bald.
Bespectacled, with a whispery voice like rustling pages in a forbidden library. He was the lead on Project Echo, body transference via neural mapping. It's not magic, Lily Heed said, clipping electrodes to my temples during intake. Just science catching up to the soul. Swap essences. Reset lives. Controversial? Hell yes. Effective? We're about to find out. Controversial didn't cover it. Echo was the dirty secret of the American justice system, tested on the disposable, the one society's already written off. Whispers in the yard said volunteers ended up catatonic or worse. Souls scrambled like eggs in a microwave. But Elias? He saw in me a mirror of his own grudge, his daughter, fried by a pharma trial gone wrong. Her mind trapped in a vegetative shell. They took everything from you, he murmured one night in the dim lab. Monitors beeping like accusatory heartbeats. Let me give you the means to take it back. The swap was voluntary, he claimed, but the fine print, buried under NDAs and lithium doses. Emily, the mark, was perfect, CEO of Harper Holdings, the family real estate shell company they bloated with Dad's insurance payout. She was due for a wellness check at the clinic, Elias's side gig, laundering Echo trials through executive stress therapy. I didn't hesitate. As the machine hummed to life, a coffin of glass and coils, I locked eyes with her across the sterile room. You'll never see it coming, I mouthed. Her laugh was pitying, condescending, the same one she'd used at Thanksgiving when she called me the family charity case. The world dissolved in static. Pain like lightning forking through my veins.
Memory is bleeding. Mine.
Hers, a slurry of boardrooms and bedtime stories. When I woke, it was to silk sheets and a skyline view of Lake Michigan from the 42nd floor. Emily's body, lithe, Botox smooth, with that signature auburn bob, moved like a stranger's dream. I flexed her fingers, felt the unfamiliar strength, the absence of my old scars from kitchen burns and jailhouse brawls. In the mirror, her face smirked back, green eyes sharp as shattered emeralds. Hello, sister, I whispered, voice a velvet purr I'd only heard over speakerphone. Jack was the first domino. He flew in from Austin that weekend, all bro hugs and craft IPAs, oblivious as a steer to slaughter. We'd reconnect at Gibson's Steakhouse in the Gold Coast, the kind of place where power lunches bleed into power naps. I arrived in Emily's Louboutins, her Chanel sheath-hugging curves I'd envied in secret. You look rested, he said, clinking glasses, his Rolex glinting under the low lamps. We talk startups, his AI firm scraping by on meme stock fumes, then circled to the house. Sold like hotcakes.
Eminência.
Your cut cleared escrow last week. $500,000. Easy. My cut. The word twisted like a knife. I smiled Emily's smile. All teeth and no warmth. And Lily? She no yet, Jack shrugged, spearing his ribeye. Who cares? Bitch got what she deserved. Dad's will was a joke, undue influence.
My ass.
We fixed it. Fixed it. Like I was a glitch in their code. That's when I dropped the hook. What if I told you the addendum's real? The one where Dad outs you for the crash. His fork froze midair. Beef juice pooling like blood. Bullshit. You forging docs now. I leaned in, voice dropping to a conspirator's hush.
No. Jack.
Remembering. Echo cleared the fog. I know everything, the coke dealer in Wrigleyville. The dash cam you deep-faked. And Lily? She's not rotting in Logan anymore.
She's
closer than you think. He laughed it off as jet lag. But I saw the crack. Pupils dilating. Napkin twisted in his fist. By dessert, creme brulee torched tableside. Flames dancing like accusations. I'd planted the seed. Sell your shares in Harper Holdings.
Jack.
Before the truth hits the fan. He left pale, muttering about lawyers. I didn't need to wait for the fallout. Elias had coached me on the rebound effects. Echo wasn't permanent, 48 hours tops before the neural anchors snapped back. But 48 hours? Enough to burn it all down. Emily's life was a gilded cage of notifications and nectarines flown in from Chile. Her calendar pinged with vengeance fodder, emails from Harlan the attorney, gloating over the clean transfer, voicemails from Jack. Slurred and suspicious. What the hell's Echo?
Ink.
You sound off. I hacked her laptop. Password, family first one. The irony, a gut punch. Uncovering the trove. Bank statements siphoning my inheritance into offshore shells. Texts plotting my frame-up. Lily's the weak link. Pin the DUI on her. Insurance covers the rest. The secret they'd chiseled into marble. Not just the crash. But Mom's accidental overdose 6 months before the wreck. Pills from Emily's stash. Slipped into her morphine drip during a visit. Mercy killing? Or clearing the board for the will? The autopsy said misadventure. But the timestamps matched Emily's private jet logs. Rage boiled. But I played it cool, Emily cool. The ice queen who closed deals with a glance. I called a board meeting for Harper Holdings.
Virtual frommer Tribeca pied-à-terre.
Citing fiduciary urgency. The suits logged in. VPs in polos. Investors with yacht tans. We're divesting the Oak Park asset, I announced. Screen sharing the falsified deed. Full reversal. Refund the buyers. Eat the loss. And Jack's equity. Liquidated. Effective immediately. Murmurs rippled like wind through wheat. Emily. This is insane. That's prime inventory. Protested one. A weasel named Ted. I fixed him with her stare. Insane? Like framing your sister for vehicular homicide? Like murdering your mother for a quicker payout? I hit send on the dossier. PDFs of the addendum. Deepfake forensics from a dark web contact Elias knew. Mom's talks screen reanalyzed by a rogue pathologist. The call devolved into chaos. Accusations flying. Shares tanking in real time on the sidebar ticker. Jack burst in via emergency link. Face thunderous from his Austin ranch. What the fuck?
Ink.
You lost your mind. I tilted my head. Emily's bob swaying like a pendulum.
No.
Brother. I found mine. And Lily's sending regards. That's when the twist hit him. My voice. Her inflections. But the words? Pure venom. Laced with details only I knew. the scar on his knee from falling off the garage roof at 12. The lullaby Mom sang him after the crash cover-up. Echo, he gasped, connecting dots too late.
You.
You're her. The anchors tugged then. A migraine like God's own hangover. Time slipping, essences fraying at the edges. I had one play left, the controversial call, the one that'd split readers down the middle like a partisan hack. I wired the Harper accounts, every cent, $4.7 million, to a trust in my real name, Lily Harper, irrevocable. Then, the real gut punch, I confessed. Live on the call, Emily's lips forming my truth. Jack killed Dad. Emily killed Mom. I took the fall for both. Because blood's thicker than justice in this godforsaken country. But not anymore. Cops swarmed her penthouse an hour later, NYPD tipped by an anonymous server in Chicago. Elias pulled strings to stabilize the swap, buying me hours in limbo. A ghost in her skin. Jack bolted for the border. But Texas plates and a tail of feds caught him at the Sabine. Emily? She woke in my old cell at Logan, jumpsuit chafing her designer soul, screaming for lawyers who wouldn't come. As the machine whirred me back, pain eclipsing the skyline, I collapsed into my bunk, body mine again, scarred and spent. The house, reverted by dawn, deed stamped with Dad's will, unchallenged now that the truth clawed its way out. I walked free a week later. Charges dropped amid the scandal sheets. Siblings body swap revenge rocks real estate empire. Tabloids ate it up. Fox calling it vigilante justice. CNN decrying the ethics of Echo.
Me?
I drove west on 90. Windows down. Jazz crackling from a pawnshop radio. The Victorian waiting like a prodigal's welcome. But here's the twist they don't print. In those stolen hours, wearing Emily's face, I felt it, the seduction of power, the ease of lies. Did I wire every penny? Or skim a taste for the road? Did I whisper mercy to Mom's ghost? Or plot one more swap for the judge who rubber-stamped my ruin? The house is mine. Roots reclaimed. But the darkness? It lingers. A shadow in the attic. Debating if revenge ever really ends, or if it's just the start of someone else's vendetta. The drive back to Oak Park felt like threading a needle through a storm, Interstate 90 clogged with semis hauling who knows what from the Rust Belt. Wipers slapping rhythm like a metronome to my unraveling thoughts. It was late October now. Leaves turning the shoulders into bonfires of red and gold. But the chill seeping through the vents of my beat-up Civic wasn't autumn. It was the aftershock of Echo. Neural ghosts flickering at the edges of vision. Elias had warned me. Reverberations. Lily. Memories bleed. You might not know where you end and she begins. He was right. Emily's laugh bubbled up unbidden as I passed a billboard for Lake Shore high-rises. Her voice in my head cooing. Darling. Upgrade to something with a view. I cranked the radio. WBEZ droning NPR on the trial du jour. Some crypto scam in Miami, but it did nothing to drown the what-ifs. What if the swap hadn't held? What if Jack's deepfake wizard had scrubbed the evidence cleaner? And the big one, the controversy that'd keep therapists in business. Was I the hero reclaiming her due? Or just another American grifter? Playing God with stolen skin? The ethics boards were already circling Elias's lab like vultures. FDA raids pending. But hell, in a country that greenlit lobotomies for housewives in the 50s, who'd blink at soul-swapping cons. Oak Park greeted me like a faded postcard. Frank Lloyd Wright gingerbreads lining the streets. Families trick-or-treating early under sodium lamps, oblivious to the Harper haunt rising from the dead. The house loomed at the end of our block, peeling sage paint, Porch swing creaking in the wind like a hanged man's sigh. The new owners? Some millennial couple from the city, fleeing condo fees for authentic suburbia. But Harlan's panicked email, sent from a burner. The coward confirmed the reversal. Escrow unwound. Keys in my P.O. box. Apologies slathered thicker than Chicago deep dish. Full restitution pending. Miss Harper. Your siblings. Detained. Detained. Euphemism for the clusterfuck I'd unleashed. Jack in Travis County lockup. Fighting extradition on vehicular charges plus wire fraud. Emily in Rikers. Her arraignment a media circus with paparazzi flashing like Stasi spies. The headlines spun it sensational. Body swap bombshell. Sibling rivalry goes sci-fi. Pundits on cable debated the moral morass. Was echo emancipation or abomination? Progressives cried class warfare me. The working stiff sister versus their elite asses. Conservatives thundered about playing Frankenstein with family values.
Me?
I just wanted my goddamn kitchen back. The one with the Formica counters scarred from Mom's Jell-O molds. Unlocking the front door was a homecoming laced with trespass, dust motes dancing in the foyer light. Air thick with neglect and the faint tang of fresh paint from their half-assed Reno. I flicked the hall switch, Edison bulbs flickering to life, casting long shadows over the staircase banister, gouged from Jack's Hot Wheels crashes. Upstairs. My old room was a time capsule, twin bed with a chenille spread, posters of Nirvana and the Bulls' '96 squad curling at the edges. But the master? Gutted. Emily's touch, marble vanity where Mom's vanity once stood, mirrors angled for Instagram vanity shots. I punched the glass, knuckles splitting, blood welling like punctuation to the rage. Sleep evaded me that night, tangled in sheets that smelled of strangers. Dreams bled echo residue. Emily's boardroom conquests morphing into my jail-yard brawls. Jack's coke-fueled highs crashing into Dad's funeral dirge. Woke at 3 a.m. to a text from Elias. Reverb intensifying? Antidote vial in glove box. Last dose. Don't wait. The vial was there. Cool glass nestled beside crumpled Wendy's bags. A milky serum labeled Anchor Reset. I stared at it, thumb tracing the label. One shot to sever the ties.
Or.
What? Hoard it? Swap again? The power hummed. Controversial as a loaded AR-15 in a school zone. Dawn brought Harlan to the door. Suit rumpled. Manila folder clutched like a shield. Miss Harper Lily, congratulations on the exoneration. His eyes darted. Avoiding the bloodied towel I'd wrapped my hand in. We settled in the parlor. Wingbacks flanking the fireplace where Dad once roasted chestnuts. Now cold and ashed. He spread docs like a poker hand. Restitution checks, mine. 1.8 mil. Post-taxes.
Lianifted.
Even a goodwill clause for therapy. Your siblings' assets frozen.
Harper Holdings in receivership.
You own it all now. Own it all. The words hung.
Tainted.
And the addendum?
Mom's.
Incident. Harlan swallowed. Adam's apple bobbing like a buoy in chop. Reopened. DA's calling it homicide. Emily's prints on the vial. Flight records alibi proof. Jack's plea deal crumbling. He's naming names. I nodded. Signing where tabbed. But inside, a storm. Betrayal's echo wasn't just neural, it was viral. Infecting the what could best. What if I'd let it ride? Played the long game without the swap? Would the house still be mine? Or would I be scraping by in some Logan halfway house? Siblings toasting my absence? The neighborhood watched from behind lace curtains, Mrs. Kowalski across the street. pruning her mums with clippers that clicked like gossip tongues. By noon, a U-Haul rumbled up, disgorging the flippers, him a bearded coder in Patagonia fleece, her a yoga mom with a toddler strapped to her chest. "We heard, crazy, right? The news," she said, handing over keys with forced cheer. Awkward hugs. Then gone. Taillights fading into the lunch rush. I stood on the porch, wind whipping my hoodie, feeling the weight of every square inch, 2,400 of them, creaking with secrets. That afternoon, I drove to Logan not for nostalgia, but unfinished business. The gates clanged open like Judgment Day, guards nodding me through with visitor badges that felt like talismans. Elias waited in the med wing, lab coat starched, but eyes hollowed by the fallout. Feds had raided at dawn, shredding files, but he'd cached the good stuff on a thumb drive slipped into my palm. "The formula's yours now, Lily. Replicate it? Your call. But remember, power like this, it chooses you, or you choose it." Emily was in Gen Pop, orange jumpsuit clashing with her roots growing out gray. Visitation room, plexiglass divider, phones greasy from desperate hands. She picked up, face a mask of Emily Patrician scorn cracking at the seams. "You bitch." Enjoying the show, her voice tinny through the receiver. But the hate?
Pure stereo.
I pressed the glass, close enough to fog it. "The house is mine.
Eminencia.
Every inch. And you're wearing my old life now, fits like a glove. Doesn't it?" She laughed, brittle as autumn leaves. "Think you won?" Jax lawyered up, best in Austin. "And Echo, your little science fair project? It's DOA." Trials halted. Elias in cuffs by week's end. Bluff or truth? The reverb pulsed. Her memories flashing. A childhood tea party where she'd accidentally scalded my doll. Foreshadowing Mom's drip. "You were always the spare, Lily. Dad pitted you, that's why the house." Pathetic consolation for the nothing you'd become. I hung up without a word. But outside, in the parking lot, gravel crunching under tires, the decision crystallized. Controversial? Hell yes, swapping back into her for the plea hearing, whispering deals only she could broker. Or let karma's courts grind slow. Reclaim the roots clean? The vial burned in my pocket. A devil's coin flip. Back home, the realtor sign lay uprooted in the yard like a felled enemy. Sold sticker peeled to oblivion. I dragged it to the curb, twilight bleeding purple across the lawn. Neighbors trickled out, Kowalski with pie, the Pritchett's with six-packs, turning vigil to block party. Toasting the Harpers' comeuppance. Beers clinked. Stories swapped. Jack's prom scandal. Emily's shoplifting bust hushed with Daddy's checkbook. Laughter cathartic, but laced with the dark, America's underbelly, where family feuds fuel true crime pods and Reddit rabbit holes. Night fell heavy. Stars pricked through the sodium haze. In the attic, Dad's record spun on the old Victor, Coltrane's A Love Supreme, sax wailing like souls in Echo's coils. I sat cross-legged amid boxes, vial in hand, debating the dose. Inject and sever, or hoard the horror. The twist loomed. Unspoken, what if the swap hadn't been revenge? But revelation? Emily's memories showed cracks in her armor, nights crying over Mom's bedside. Not mercy, but guilt-fueled madness. Jack's highs? Mask for the Rex PTSD. Coca crutch for the boy who'd killed his hero. Forgiveness?
Nah.
Too Hallmark. But understanding? That was the by karma. The gray that'd spark forum fights from sea to shining sea. I uncapped the vial. Serum glinting like liquid starlight. One swallow for reset.
Or.
Or spit it out. Let the reverb ride like a bad acid trip, turning me into the hybrid horror my siblings deserved. But nah, I was Lily Harper. Roots and all. Not some Frankenstein's mongrel chasing ghosts. The serum hit my throat bitter as quinine, burning trails to my core. And just like that, the bleed stopped. Emily's laugh faded to echo. Jack's coke rush jitters to static. Clarity crashed in, sharp as Lake Michigan ice. The house was step one.
But revenge?
That was a marathon, paved with the controversial choices that make or break a soul. November rolled in wet and windy, Chicago's gray skies mirroring the mood. The check cleared, 1.8 mil wired to my Chase account, enough to fix the roof and hire a PI firm out of the yellow pages. First order, dig deeper into Harper Holdings' guts. Turns out, Emily hadn't stopped at the house. She'd laundered Dad's life insurance through Shell Corps in the Caymans, flipping distressed properties in Bronzeville, gentrifying blocks our grandparents picketed for fair housing in the 60s. Ironic. The family legacy built on the backs of the displaced, while I rotted for their sins.
The PI.
A grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz with a White Sox cap and a flask habit met me at a dive in Pilsen. Murals of Aztec warriors eyeing us from brick walls. Jukebox crooning Springsteen. Your sibs were sloppy. Kid. He grunted over tacos al pastor. Grease spotting his notes. Emails to a fixer in Cicero. Paid off witnesses for the crash. Fudged the coroner's report on Mom. And get this, the anonymous tip that landed you? From a burner traced to Jack's VPN. Sloppy indeed. But the real dirt? A hidden beneficiary, Harlan. The attorney. Skimming 10% off the top. His goodwill clauses a smokescreen for kickbacks. Armed with printouts thicker than a Sears catalog.
He sued.
Not the splashy kind. No press conferences with shark lawyers, but quiet, surgical. In Cook County's civil courts. The kind where judges sip thermos coffee and hate drama. Petition filed. Fraud. Undue enrichment. Conspiracy to commit elder abuse. Emily and Jack deposed via video from their cells. Faces gaunt under fluorescent hell. Jack rambled. Sweat beading like confession due. It was an accident. Lil, Dad swerved. I panicked. Lies crumbling under Ruiz's affidavits. Emily? Stone cold till the end. Prove it.
Peasant.
Without echo. You're nothing. The hearing was a Thursday in December. Snow flurrying outside the Loop's granite facades. Holiday lights twinkling like mocking stars. Courtroom smelled of old varnish and desperation. Pro-SE for me. Public defender for them. A kid fresh from Northwestern law fidgeting with his tie. Judge O'Malley. A silver fox with a brogue and a noble shit rep. Peered over bifocals as I took the stand. Miss Harper. You allege a body transference event facilitated your discovery. Care to elaborate for the record? The room held breath, reporters in the back row. Pencils poised like daggers. Controversial? This was dynamite. Admitting to echo on public docket. Risking perjury or worse. But I leaned into the mic. Voice steady as the L rumbling overhead. Your Honor. Project Echo isn't fiction. It's classified rehab tech. Neural mapping to reintegrate trauma victims. I volunteered, swapped with Emily for 48 hours. Saw the emails, the ledgers, the mercy kill syringe in her bathroom cabinet. Felt the guilt she buried under Louboutins. Gasps rippled. the PD objecting like a reflex. O'Malley banged her gavel, eyes narrowing. Overruled. Proceed, but tread light. Counsel. This court's no sci-fi con. I did. Laying out the addendum. The deepfakes. The offshore trails. Exhibits flashed on the projector. Mom's re-autopsy talks. Jack's dealer texts timestamped to the crash. By recess, the siblings' table was a funeral. Jack slouched. Emily's glare could curdle cream. Verdict dropped post-lunch. Full restitution. Harper Holdings dissolved. Assets to me as rightful heir. Plus punitive. Emily and Jack on the hook for $500K each in emotional damages, a nod to the years I'd lost.
Cheers?
None. Just the scratch of pens. The shuffle of exit.
Outside.
Reporters swarmed. Lily? Was the swap worth it? Ethical or evil? Mics thrusting like bayonets. I pushed through. Snow melting on my coat. Ruiz trailing with a protective grunt. Freedom tasted like Giordano's sausage. Scarf solo in the car. Cheese strings dangling like victory banners. But the high faded fast, driving home through the Dan Ryan snarl. Billboards hawking holiday sales. I felt the dark creep. Power's a drug, Elias said, and I'd mainlined it. The house glowed warm from the block away. Porch light I'd left burning like a beacon. Inside, I lit the tree, Dad's heirloom ornaments. Silver bells tarnished, but tinkling true, and poured eggnog spiked with rum. Toasting ghosts. Christmas Eve brought the twist. A knock at midnight. Ruiz on the stoop. Breath fogging in the frost. One more file.
Kid.
From Harlan safe, Guy lawyered up, but his secretary sang for $1,000. He handed a slim envelope, sealed with wax like a Renaissance poison. Inside, letters. Dad scrawled to Mom. Dated pre-diagnosis. If I go first, tell Lily the truth about her birth. She's not mine by blood, affair with the neighbor. 92. Jack and M don't know. Protect her from the whispers. Boom. The floor dropped. Not just the crash cover-up. Not just Mom's mercy me. The cuckoo in the nest. The reason Dad's will hedged bets with the house. Roots, he'd written.
But now?
A lie wrapped in legacy. Betrayal cubed. Siblings weren't just thieves. They were unwitting half-sibs to a bastard secret. Controversial? This ignite family therapy fires from here to therapy. Am I avenger or interloper? Rightful heir or royal fuck-up? I burned the letters in the hearth. Flames devouring ink like absolution. No DNA test. No dredging the grave. Let the secret stay buried. A final twist reversing not just truth, but identity. Dawn Cracked Cold presents Unwrapped Solo, a jazz LP from Elias, smuggled pre-raid. A keychain from Ruiz, for the road not taken. The phone rang collect from Logan. Emily's voice a rasp. Merry Christmas. Imposter. Dad's ghost whispering yet. I hung up, smiling grim. Imposter? Maybe. But the house creaked agreement. Every inch mine, blood or borrowed. Winter thawed slow. January's bite yielding to February's slush. Harper Holdings carcass I auctioned piecemeal. The Cayman's shells to ethical investors. Bronzeville flips with community reinvest clauses. No more gentrifying ghost. Proceeds funded a foundation. Harper Roots, scholarships for wrongfully convicted. Pro bono for frame-up fix. Ironic rehabilitation. Turning poison to poultice. Elias beat the rap, tenure at Northwestern. Lecturing on neural ethics in the post-Echo era. His invite to guest speak? Tempting. But I declined. Spotlights for siblings. I'm the shadow. Spring bloomed contentious. Appeals dragged. Jack's podcastos crowing, railroaded bro. Emily's GoFundMe. Innocent CEO behind bars, netting six figures from MAGA donors. Debates raged online. X threads dissecting my vigilante hack. TikToks recreating the swap with AR filters.
Me?
I gardened, yanking weeds from mom's rose beds. Thorns pricking like reminders. The controversial decision loomed. Testify at their trials. Or ghost. Power's choice. Again. Summer scorched and like a verdict. July heat waves warping the air over Oak Park's lawns. AC units humming dirges to the endless cricket chorus. The trials converged in August, joint federal in the Dirksen building. Air-conditioned purgatory with flags drooping like weary sentinels. I testified, not for closure, but the kill shot, stand, swear on the Bible, or lack thereof. Recount the swap in clinical detail, electrodes, the hum, the bleed. Jurors leaned in, faces a jury box of Midwestern skepticism, plumbers from Orland Park, teachers from Evanston, all wondering if this was Black Mirror or Backyard Barbecue Bowl. Prosecutor Vance, a bulldog in Brooks Brothers, paced like Columbo on steroids. Miss Harper, in Emily's body, did you access privileged communications? I nodded, voice echoing off marble. Her inbox. Terminate mom, quicker probate. Jack server, crash footage. Unaltered. Him at the wheel. Dad's please on audio. Exhibits boomed, screenshots. Spectrograms. The addendum projected life size. Dad's cursive a spectral witness. Defense held tampering. Echoes a hallucination. Unverified pseudoscience. But Vance countered with Elias's affidavit. Declassified echo docs stamped, experimental but efficacious. Emily took the stand in a tailored inmate chic. Hair pulled into a chignon that screamed still better than you. Lies, she spat. Eyes locking mine across the well. Lily's always been jealous. Stole my life for a thrill. Mom's death. Accidental overdose. End of story. But Cross cracked her. Vance playing the syringe cam from her jet's black box. Timestamps aligning with mom's last breath. She crumbled. Tears smudging mascara like war paint running. Jack. Weasel words till the audio hit. Dad's voice. Gurgling.
Son. Why?
Then sobs.
Pleas for mercy.
Verdicts. Guilty across the board. Emily. Life for homicide plus fraud, Jack. 25 to life on manslaughter and conspiracy. Sentencings in September. Leaves turning traitor gold outside the windows. I spoke at both victim impact. The courts call it. But mine was eulogy for the family that never was. You sold more than the house, I told Emily. Her orange jumpsuit a mockery of harvest moons. You sold trust. The kind that binds blood. But blood's a lie. Too. Dad's secret proved that. I'm free because I face the rot. You're caged by denial. She lunged at the glass. Marshall's pinning her. Bastard child, she shrieked. The secret spilling like bile. Gasps echoed. Reporters scribbling frenzy. The twist inverted. Not just their crimes, but mine illegitimacy weaponized, turning avenger to accused. Judge hushed it, but damage done. Whispers in the hall. Harper's not even a real Harper? Online inferno ignited. Threads debating DNA destiny. Is revenge valid if you're the family fraud? Fall deepened the divide. I sold the house, not for profit, but preservation. Donated to Oak Park Historical Society. Plaque reading. Harper Home, site of betrayal and rebirth. 1892 to 2025, roots severed, but replanted public. A monument to the messy American dream, where justice is pay-to-play, family a four-letter word, and tech blurs the soul's barcode. Elias visited once. Vial refills offered slyly. Round 2. Swap into power, Senate seat. Maybe. I laughed. Brewing tea in the empty kitchen.
Nah.
Power's the poison. I'm done playing God. Winter circled back. Snow blanketing the block like absolution. Christmas alone again. But this time with purpose. Ruiz's invite to a White Sox opener in April. Kowalski's Pierogi Brigade for New Year's. The controversy simmered, books pitched, swapped. A sister's reckoning. Netflix sniffing for rights, but I ghosted, letting the debate ferment without fuel. Happy ending?
For some.
The house stands. Zekut's Echten Eves, Siblingsrat. Their empire's dust. By karma for me. Free but fractured. Heir to a lie that liberated. Yet in quiet nights, reverb whispers return, not Emily's, but Dad's. Protect her from the whispers. I do. By living loud, volunteering at Logan, lecturing on wrongful convictions at UIC, dating a barista named Theo with tattoos of constellations and a laugh like Coltrane's horn. Love.
Tentative. Tested.
But real, no swaps.
Just skin on skin.
The final twist? Last spring. A letter from Jack. Prison stamped. Postmarked Huntsville. Lil, if you're reading this, know I knew about the affair. Dad told me after the crash, said it made us even. His secret for mine. Forgive?
Nah.
But understand, we were all monsters in that house. Burn this. I did. Ashes to the maple where the dog lay. No forgiveness. No forgetting, just forward. Every square inch of my life reclaimed. Controversial as a comeback in the land of second chances. And if the darkness calls again? Vials buried in the backyard. Under the crooked tree. Dig if you dare, but that's the choice. Reader, hero or horror. You decide. After all, in America, revenge is as American as the lies we tell to sleep at night.